Hey, y'all.
Good morning.
Hey, it's us, The Give Back, myself, Mashawn Carter-Fogel.
And Eureka Edison.
And we're back today giving you guys another little insight on how to be a good professional stylist and not overstep your boundaries while keeping your professionalism, right?
And today's topic is after school.
Now what?
Now what?
So with that topic, it could be broad, but it says exactly what it means, right? You've graduated hair school here in Kentucky. You've went through your 1,500 hours. You've taken your state board examination. Mm-hmm. Where are you going now?
No, what do you do now? Like, there's options, right?
You have options.
We have suites. We have corporate. We have rental. And then we have the brave souls who just jump on out and start their own salon.
But let's not forget about your hair cutteries. So when I say hair cutteries, I'm referring to your supercuts, your great clips, even 5 and dimes in some cities. Like, those are hair cutteries. So to explore and give a little bit of insight on all of them, I guess we're going to touch bases on that today. So let's just jump on in.
Right? So first step is somebody who in school, if you were nervous to cut, I recommend the cuttery first. They give you basic skills. Not only do they give you basic skills, they actually push you and they educate you along the way. It is definitely a step that's needed because we as black hairstylists tend to be intimidated with a pair of shears. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that is. But when it comes to shears, we are very much intimidated. Everybody just wants to do a blunt cut. Everybody only knows how to do 90 degrees. Shears matter. Shears is money. A lot of money.
So speaking from experience, I did go to a hair cuttery right out of hair school. My first move was to a supercut straight out of hair school. I felt like I didn't have the information and the know-how to be able to make those haircuts click. Eureka was talking about she doesn't understand why we are scared to cut. It's a little bit of intimidation when somebody does hand you the ability to be able to say, change my life, change my hair. Especially if you haven't been equipped with the know-how to do. So for me, supercuts was my first step. I stayed there for 6 years. It took me to a point of not knowing how to cut it all to now at that point I could do any haircut. And I do mean any haircut that anybody threw at me within 15 minutes. That was a great starting platform for me. It gave me the assurance and actually gave me a little bit of confidence to say, I can do any haircut in 15 minutes. What you got? But also what supercuts did for me at that point in time is it disabled me. I kept on feeling like I was not living to my full potential to be a full service stylist. And on that end of it, it told me that I couldn't go out there and make it because don't be fooled. The money from supercuts was fire. I had tips every single day doing up to maybe 25 to 26 haircuts per day.
But I think that's another thing people have to realize too when going into a cuttery. It is a time restricted profession.
It is. And
it's a quick turnover rate. There is no waiting around. There is no I got 45 minutes to do this haircut. No, that is the sole purpose of a cuttery is to cut. You may blow dry and send them out the door. And I said may.
Because I didn't.
You may. I've only seen it done a handfuls of time. But for the most part, it's cut and out the door. And within going to a cuttery, it also teaches you the difference in how to cut different textures of hair.
Absolutely.
And I need for people to understand that hair does not have a color. Hair has a texture. So if you are intimidated by cutting a certain texture of hair, that is where you should go first.
Definitely.
It's challenging. I will say that. But it is well needed if you want to be well-rounded. Hair cutting is the foundation. Is a foundation.
No. Hair cutting is the foundation of any good hairstyle.
Well,
if
yeah.
if
You're
that
right.
haircut is wrong, I don't care if they curl it up, swoop de whoop it, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. Once that thing is straight, it's telling on you.
Yeah.
And it's telling on whoever cut your hair that they did not do that thing right.
Yeah. You right. You are so right. Especially if I'm a pixie lover.
Ooh.
Cutting is definitely the foundation of a great pixie, and learning exactly how to cut. Do you point cut? Do you blunt cut? Do I hold my shear at a 90 degree and my fingers at a 45 degree? Because all that matters to give you the shape that you would like. How do I position my body? Those are the things that you will learn at a cuttery.
Potentially. Potentially. Hair cuttery for me taught me literally how to clipper cut, how to scissor cut.
And that was it.
They didn't teach me anything about my body formation, how to hold my body. They did teach me how to hold my shears,
Right.
but not the body to preserve my body for the long haul. Did not. That's one of those things that we learned later on as we continued our education and you get into advanced cutting. So don't get it twisted. Hair cutteries are not advanced cutting, but they are more advanced than what you got in school.
So they lay the basis. They lay the foundation.
They lay the foundation,
And then
give you a little bit more
education.
Yes, a little bit more. Hair cutteries do tend to pay a good price. They pay you commission. Some of them provide you with insurance. They'll help you to purchase your shears. Some of them, they'll have a shear purchasing program. Notice I didn't say sizzles because
We don't use
scissors.
We don't use scissors.
We use shears.
We don't use scissors.
So hair cuttery, some are better than others, but you do get what you need to further your education a little bit more straight out of school in a hair cuttery.
Outside of a hair cuttery, the next option is corporate. I've never worked in corporate. I can't really speak too much as to why you should go corporate. I know why I chose not to go corporate. As we are seeing, the times is different because this was 2007. I chose not to go corporate solely based off of the fact that it was commission based. Not only was it commission based, you have to understand, because this is a corporation, it is a business, and it is going to be ran like a business. You will have hourly times to be at work, no matter what. You have a schedule. I did not want to work on somebody else's schedule at that point in my life. That's why those are really the main two things that kept me from going corporate. I don't want to give somebody a percentage of my hard-earned money. After I've stood behind the chair all day, I did not want to do that. And I also did not want to adhere to somebody else's schedule. So those was the only things that I had to deter me, and I never went corporate, ever.
Well, just call me done it all, done it all, done it all. I have worked at corporate salons. I did too. My first corporate salon that I worked at, it's story time for me right here. My first corporate salon that I worked at J.C. Penney. I called it J.C. Penney because I needed it to have a little bit of a classy ring. J.C. Penney, I should have known right out the gate that it was wrong. After this point, I've done 5 years at Supercuts, and almost as soon as I walked in the door, my supervisor at the time asked me, "You want to be a manager?"
Your first day?
My first.
Your first day?
My first day, and I was
What'd you
like,
say?
Yeah.
No, you didn't know
Yeah,
nothing.
I want to be a manager. What you mean? J.C. Penney actually gave me the stepping stone and foundations to be able to say, I don't want it. I worked there. It was the first time after being at Supercuts, being able to do full service. So I realized that I still had a love for full service, and I still wanted to do hair. I still wanted to comb hair.
Correct.
I was probably one of 2 black stylists at J.C. Penney. So yeah, they was in there. They was piling it on. And I think at one point I started noticing as the manager that the other black hairstylist, like, he come and go as he please, but I never heard that register go cha-ching. So he started pocketing his money. And
He was just getting his just due.
So that let me know right there out the gate that giving them 40%, 40 to 50% of my money after working really hard was not the move that I wanted. So I left JC Penney and I went down to Macy's Equitage Salon. I'm not a dressy girl. The fact that they wanted me to adhere to their rules and dress up daily, wear heels, beat my face daily, that's not my life. So
they wanted y'all to work in heels?
They wanted us to work in heels.
Ooh,
the uniform was black daily. And that salon, I was the only black stylist, which brings me to this. Back then, when I worked at Equitage, I could not fathom the thought of charging somebody $75 for a relaxer.
Right, because back then it was $45.
It was $45
for a relaxer in style.
Yeah, Equitage was charging these people right out the gate $75, and that did not include a full style. My oh my, have the times changed? Wow, but yeah, working and being exposed at those two salons told me that 50% of my money meant more to me than to give it away.
Well, it sounds like to me, as somebody who did not go into corporate, it sounds like starting off, if you don't have the clientele, and if you are not a hustler, because make no mistake, this industry is all about hustling. But what that sounds to me like is corporate America gives you that safety net to guarantee a paycheck.
It does.
And to guarantee that you will at least be able to practice.
It does. But also understanding that once you go into these salons that are corporate, the clients that you obtain, they're not yours.
They're not. No, they belong to that business. They're not your clients.
They belong to that business. And if you are caught actually trying to solicit a client to come to you at another place, that's grounds for termination. So they own that with that 40 to 50% that you're paying them. They are paying you in the bulk of clients. You get clients, but they don't belong to you. So don't try to keep that book of those people and contact them when you decide to abruptly walk out or whatever it may be. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going with you either. Okay, but it is a safety net. It's a paycheck, a little bit of insurance. Some people get intimidated by the fact that when they actually come out, they're making much more money, not realizing that there is a whole responsibility to pay taxes. They pay your taxes for you. They do marketing for you. But at the same time, it's because you work there at their facility. Okay? Yeah.
Next up.
Hot sweat.
Well, that was not next, but booth rent or salon suite? Now, for me, I was never a sweet girl. Growing up, we would go to the hair salon every 2 weeks, and I love the camaraderie of an open concept salon. I absolutely love seeing all the other hairstylists work. I love seeing all the other clients when they would leave. It was like a party for everybody when they walked into a salon. And I knew when I went to hair school that was going to be the only way that I went. Booth renting for me opens so many doors because you get exposure to all the different stylists, all the techniques and the skill set that they have. And if you were lucky, in the 3 salons that I've been in, I've learned from every single person I've worked with. Do's and don'ts, how and how not to. I've actually had stylists in the middle of me doing something stop me and say, what are you doing? Don't do that. And at first it was a little intimidating, but once you let go of that ego, you realize iron sharpens iron, and they only want you to be better. So if you drop your ego in an open concept salon, you will learn so much. And there's not, I'm not going to say it wasn't a lot of criticism. And if it was very productive. It was only to make you better. Booth rental to me also gave me the free will to practice exactly the type of hair that I wanted to practice. But also in booth rental, don't get it confused. You are responsible for every single thing, meaning product, your schedule, your client retention. You are responsible. responsible for making sure your area is completely clean. Like, you are responsible for everything when it comes to your taxes, your insurance, your retirement. You are responsible for everything. So if you know that you are not a responsible person, or if you don't know what to do some work, do some research, get with some older hairstylists who can guide you, which is also why I love booth rental in an open concept salon, because there's a difference between booth rental, because you can rent a suite, or you can be an open concept and rent. I'm an open concept girl. I don't want to be in a suite. I don't want to be closed in. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want that. I don't like that for myself. I don't want that for my clients. I have clients who have been together for years now who actually enjoy getting their hair done at the same time. They actually asked about each other. They show each other pictures of what's going on in their life, and it is a beautiful thing to see. Holidays come around, everybody's exchanging gifts and cards, and it is a beautiful thing if you allow it to be.
So we both said so. So I'm going to give you the other side of it as a suite renter. Mm-hmm. After I left, another salon. I went to a place that actually had suites. It wasn't one of the big places here that have the big suites.
Right.
However, we did have our own suite with our own shampoo bowl chair and decorated however we wanted it to be. For me, in that season, I stayed there for almost 10 years. So in that season, it groomed me for what I needed it to be. Mm-hmm. Even though I had a suite, I still kept my door open. I still invited people into my suite. We still had an area where we could come together as stylists and talk, or even if it was clients, because one of my coworkers, I knew all of her clients. I knew basically everybody's clients, and we still had a whole type of relationship. We still had parties. We still exchanged Christmas gifts, but that was the type of setting that we set, because the people that I worked in the suites with were the people that I still worked in the open concept salon with. But we just happened to be displaced at the time and had to go to suites. Mm-hmm. So in my suite experience, yes, it was great. It didn't really segregate me from everybody else, because that's what we created. But what it did do to me, and what I've realized in now that I have a salon that's more of an open concept, I'm still kind of ducked off by myself. Because there's certain sensitivities that I know that I have in working in an open concept salon that I can't, even though I can dip in and be a part of my open concept salon when I feel the need to be a part of the salon. But work wise, I'm still in that suite by myself. Right. Does that make sense?
It does, because I understand the layout, right? So it makes sense to me. Yeah, so it's still open. You just kind of off to the side, right? Yeah. It's still access if anyone was to need you, or vice versa.
But I'm still able to walk over next door and see Eureka maybe cutting a bob or doing 3 colors and 1 head of hair, and still be able to ask questions. And I'm still open if anybody comes over and wants to ask me what I'm doing, but still ducked off.
Yeah, I just think that as somebody coming out of school, these are the things that you should think of, right?
Absolutely.
Because it determines what's next for you. Yeah. You have to decide what is the best thing for you and what it is you're trying to do. Say you come out and you have no clue as to what you want to do next. I always said this, and I stand by it. Find something within this industry that you love and perfect it. And I think that will help you figure out what your next move should be. Because the industry is so broad. It's very, very broad. But when you come out of school, you do have to decide. If I decide I am going to be a cosmetologist, I have to decide whether I am going to be in a cuttery, corporate, booth rent, suite, corporate suite, it all matters. It all makes a difference. And understand, this is not an industry where you have to wait for people to come to you. You have to go get your people.
Exactly what I was getting ready to say. So no matter which avenue
Yeah.
you decide to do, maybe not so much in your corporate salons, but
Yeah.
when you decide to take on an entity for yourself,
Right.
which each one of us have a different entity that's housed under one place. But with that being said, we both take the time out to market for ourselves. We brand ourselves and we put ourselves out there. The biggest misconception with hair school or people graduated from hair school is that you're going to graduate from hair school and that you are instantly going to be making some
I
money.
have a line of clients. That is not true.
It's not true. And the only way that that could potentially be true is if you in hair school hustling, being a kitchen-tician, or potentially out here working without a license. So when you graduate, that you'll have a book full of clients. But the general reality is that no, you're not going to. You're going to have to hustle just like anybody else who hustles to make sure that whatever they're putting out there is going to be received and that somebody wants it. Which,
I mean, because essentially you're selling the product, which is yourself.
yeah. And how do you market yourself? Like, that's another topic within itself.
It is, because it's different now from
is.
when you came out and from when I came out. Like, there was no social media, but that's a whole nother subject for another day. So you got to understand, you are selling yourself, and you have to always remember that your work speaks for itself as well.
You got one name. You have one chance to make sure that your name does not get tarnished. Once your name gets tarnished in the beauty industry, it's like you blackballed.
I've seen it happen. I've seen some of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the coldest hairstylists to ever grace Lexington beg for clients. I've seen it. And it's scary because
I see
you
it.
see how good they are.
See dead people.
You do. You are a fool. You see how good they are, and you kind of wonder, like, why are you begging for clients as good as you are? And you realize that something along the way has happened, and it has made people not put their trust and faith in you. Either something you did, something you said,
How you said
how
it.
you say things, how you
And
approach situations.
Something that I learned earlier in life is a compliment may reach 2 or 3 people, you know. But if you have something bad to say about a person, that bad news travels quicker than good news could ever go.
Yeah.
So
It's more entertaining.
yeah, when Sally Sue walks up out your chair and she's jacked up and she goes tell Betty Sue gonna tell all the Sues.
And I mean, and you got to understand, your clients are walking advertisement. They're walking billboards for you. I've had in yourself, let's not forget, as a girl who I am generally natural and I'm a twist out girl. The amount of people I could be working out, and I've had people stop me and ask me who does my hair. And then I have to tell them me. And they want a card.
Shit.
You got to
People ask
understand.
me,
Yeah.
Who do your locks? Eureka.
Oh, thanks.
Eureka does.
Thanks.
Yep, she does.
Micro locks only. I'm not a traditional lock girl.
I
yeah.
am though.
Yeah. Sean handles the traditional. I handle the micro.
Shout out to Twist Up Tuesday.
So,
Bow bow.
but yeah, just understand that when you graduate school, you have options and you have a decision to make. And I advise you to start thinking about that as soon as you hit that floor.
Think about what your trajectory is in the beauty industry. Think about where you want to be. As we already stated, there's so many different avenues. But if you're going to be in the beauty industry, first of all, if you're in hair school, take in everything that you can get in hair school, because you never know at what point you might want to change your trajectory.
Right.
You might want to go from doing hair or extensions to being a makeup artist.
Yeah.
Because within this career, yeah, you can do that. It just takes a little bit more specifications to practice on what you want to do. But
Yeah.
your possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So take the time. As soon as you hit that floor, you got 1,500 hours to think about where you want to be,
Yep.
what you want to specialize in, where you potentially want to work, what type of people do you want to work with. And just know that whatever energy that you put out is what you get back in your clients. So however you market yourself or whichever way you decide to is going to be what you receive back. So be careful the energy that you put out there as you're working towards your goal.
Yeah. That energy is huge.
It's huge. It's major.
It makes all the difference in the world. Sean
major.
laughs at me because I have a lot of silent appointments. I'm a very quiet to myself person. So when I have silent clients, it does not bother me at all. Now, if she has a silent client, oh, baby, it's like the world is about to end. But you have to take all that into consideration. Like, would you be okay with that? Because you're going to draw in who you typically are.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like I've yet to see a stylist with clients who aren't similar to them personality wise. I have yet to see it. And that's okay. That is okay.
Think about something.
It's okay. What's on your mind?
Because sometimes I be having them ones and I be like, oh, she get on my nerves. But then I think it's just something that I see in myself and I be like, ooh, I get on my nerves.
Projecting. You projecting.
But I love them all.
I do. And it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, as soon as you hit that floor, baby, you need to really, really think about what's going to happen. Because those 1,500 hours fly by fast. And now, because it is only 1,500 now.
I came from the days when it was 1,800.
1,800 hours. So yeah, y'all got 300 hours shaved off.
Let's be specific. I had 1,800 hours. After my 1,800 hours, I took one test. After the one test, I had to serve an apprenticeship under a master stylist.
For 6 months?
For 6 months. Go back and take a master's test.
Yeah.
Before I could ever call myself a master stylist. So, another conversation, but y'all insult me sometimes. Like, y'all just jump out of hair school and just feel like, bam, I'm here. But it also goes to the clients, because sometimes these clients be making y'all into the superstars that you really ain't. But another topic. Let's stay the course. So
yeah, stay the course.
Know where you're going when you graduate from school. Take the time in, do the research
beforehand. Don't wait. Don't put that gap in there. State board is already closed during the summer. So you want to get out of school and know what your next move is. Have things lined up. Go to the salons. Go to I don't know. Go to the cutteries. See if they're hiring. Major. See what their requirements are. Yeah, you got to set yourself up. Those jobs, 9 times out of 10, those jobs are not listed. They are there, but they're not listed.
That's true.
So you have to literally boots on the ground and get that work done.
Boots on the ground.
You have to. There are salons. There are well-known salons. There are well-known hairstylists. Reach out. Ask them, hey, I'll be graduating in 6 months. Is there anybody that I know? Do you have any space? Is there something that I can do? Do you need a shampoo girl? Can I just come in and sit? Can I come in on the weekends? Like, you have to set yourself up.
And I'll say this too, as she said, knowing stylists. Some stylists would be more than happy to be able to do an apprenticeship program for some people. Because, but don't feel like you're too good to do an apprenticeship. If you do an apprenticeship, you have no clue what that could set you up for. You have no clue what you could stand to learn and how you can get ahead just serving an apprenticeship under somebody else. And that doesn't mean that you have to be at their beck and call. It just means that you're around so you can get that visual learning. So don't be too good to do that. Yeah, that's a good thing. Get it in.
I did it. I would sit when I had no clients. I would just go to the salon and just sit. I would. I'd be like sitting there like, shit, maybe somebody will walk in and I'm sitting. I can do it.
Absolutely.
And it did. And now.
And it did.
And sometimes I be overwhelmed.
Walk in it.
And I got kids that I got to get home to and y'all don't care. Y'all don't. Like, I had somebody chase me down. I had bought a brand new car. and I hadn't had time to get it tinted yet. So I was driving around in a fishbowl. And baby, we get to the light, and you know how you can feel people staring you down?
Yes.
So I look over, and I see somebody like, roll your window down. I'm like, I look and see who it is. I'm like, what's up, girl? She's like, I need a hair appointment. I can't get on your book. I said, yeah. The next day I was at Wildcat touring because I can't have no. I mean Wildcat tinting. I can't have nobody. Yeah, I can't have nobody chase me down in traffic.
Chasing you down though, but that's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. I'm not complaining at all, but I think that sometimes they forget that we are people outside of the chair. I'm somebody outside of the chair as well.
But I'm thankful and grateful for the ones who provide my life for me. Thank you, Lord.
Very much so. But yeah, we do have a life outside of the salon. We love the salon. We do. And when we're here, we give you everything. Everything that we have.
But when I walk out that door,
I got to cut it off sometime. I have 2 children to tend to and a man. And I got to cut it off sometimes. Like, don't be texting me a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock for a hair appointment, baby. I got to have a day off.
I just got stuff and I take my time when I want it, when I need it. Amen. Boundaries.
So, yeah, I mean, we're not complaining. These are all good problems to have because it could be worse. Nobody could be checking for us.
Amen. Okay. All right, now.
But I want the future to one day be able to sit here and be like, yeah, don't chase me down in traffic.
Boundaries.
So ladies, moving forward, coming out of school, get your ducks in a row. Get with somebody who knows your path. What you are getting ready to endure, and
who has lived your path.
Yeah.
It's almost like your parents would give you advice and be like, I'm only telling you this because I don't want you to make the same type of mistakes. If someone is giving you free, we giving y'all game. Right?
Free game.
Free game, free advice. Don't take it with a grain of salt. Listen. Put it to action. And
then you got to think, some people really do not know that those are options, right? They really don't know. They feel like a Supercuts may be the only option. They feel like a Macy's may be their only option, but it is not. You do have older seasoned stylists who do not mind giving back, who do not mind helping, who do not mind guiding, leading, showing you where to go, what to do, how to do it. It's all about you being open to receiving the information and then applying it, because even though you have the information, you still got to work.
Absolutely.
It's just nothing is going to come to you. Very seldom do I've met anybody within this industry where it came to them.
So I can say that if you are tuned in right now, and if you are watching us give back, then we can definitely say that you are open and that you are ready to receive what we're ready to give. And just to keep yourself in an open place like that, because if you do, you'll go further in the industry, especially starting out from humble beginnings. As long as you stay humble, don't let that ego get the best of you, and make well-informed decisions, you set yourself up for success.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
So with that being said, y'all, we're going to end this session right here. Be looking out for our next podcast, our next session that we're going to drop. Of course, we're not going to tell y'all what it is until you come and visit. Hello. But this today was, I've graduated hair school.
Now what?
Where am I going? What am I going to do? How am I going to move in this industry? So I hope that this has been a blessing on your soul, dropping some little gems, and be on the lookout for our next. Until then, this is The Give Back. I'm Sean Carter Fogle.
Eureka Edison.
We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.